Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing AI NASCAR Cup Series career mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are headed to Richmond Raceway for the second time this season. 3 races remain in the regular season. Check the end of the last episode if you want an update on the point situation. But we have some breaking news. 2 episodes in a row. Kurt Busch has announced that this will be his final full-time season of NASCAR competition in the Cup Series. He will be retiring at season's end and giving over the number 45 to somebody else. Going to be Tyler Reddick like real life? Going to be myself? You'll have to wait and see, but I wanted to try and align the stars a little bit similar to the 2023 season, so we have made that move. Kurt Busch out at the end of the season. He is calling it a career. This time, however, he at least gets a proper send-off and a chance at a championship, as he's already locked into the playoffs now as we get some practice here under our belt in this number 21. Earlier in the season when we came here, it was a bit rough. We were showing some decent speed, but we actually had a spin and things didn't quite go our way. Now, I do have a big update. Not this episode, but next episode you might be delighted to hear, as I know surprisingly and happily quite a few asking for it. Microsoft Flight Simulator shots are coming back. I finally got it to update, and I literally just got it today as I'm recording this audio right now, this commentary for this episode. For some reason the update took off and it went and did like 65 gigabytes in an hour instead of like 5 gigabytes in a whole day. So it doesn't matter what your internet speed is, it seems like, on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I got gigabit internet, but it was always struggling, but now it is working. So Microsoft Flight Sim is returning in the next episode, and it's also going to be on my Formula 1 channel starting as well for all of the career mode videos over there. I highly recommend checking out the F1 channel, Formula Owen. It is linked down below, and make sure to go and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the Formula 1 content, that is, make sure to check it out here. Now, as we come through, though, into qualifying here in Richmond at a turn 2 down this back straightaway, hard on that throttle. Got to be really careful here. You can go through this back straightaway into turn 3 and 4th gear, but you do have to upshift into 5th, going down into turn 1, then downshift into 4th. But you can see currently Harvick on pole. I would come through to complete the first lap, and I currently went P1. How about that? We're P1 by 0.2 of a second. However, I completely botched turn 1 on the next lap. It was just a complete disaster of a corner, so that ruined a whole lap, and we would come through at a turn 4, and you can see I would fall down the order all the way down into P21. So we start, well, exactly where our car number is, 21st place here from Richmond. Harvick on pole, currently outside of the playoffs, but he is very close. He's in that bubble area. We'll see if he can maybe get a stage win or even win the race, after we just saw a new winner in the last episode of Chris Buescher at Michigan. He was already up in the playoff area and wouldn't even have needed to win to make the playoffs, but that locks him in nonetheless. But let's get ready to head to the grid here for Richmond, a track that has a lot of history of chaos. Let's go to the grid.
Oh man, that was tight off turn 2. He's got him. I believe he's got him this time. Oh, he turned it.
No.
Oh, he turned it. No.
Sorry, Larry. One car, Kurt Busch, slow off the corner.
We got
spin, crash, turn 3.
Trouble. And they just keep stacking in there.
There's the hook. Bang.
Earnhardt came down, caught the right rear.
On the outside.
Oh, there they go. There they go.
Slam. Menard. Mark Martin. It's a crash fest in the backstretch.
Now the big crash on the backstretch ramp. And right up in front of more traffic. Ryan Newman's in it.
And up into the wall goes the 78 hard. Caution will come out.
Cameron. Oh, big hit there for the one of Kurt Busch.
It's got in too deep. He's going to pay the price.
Wow, hang on to her, buddy.
It's his teammate Logano guns for the
And
lead.
Logano.
Takes Gordon with him.
Logano goes to the lead.
Kozlowski, he was upset. That's him walking over to Matt Kenseth.
Kyle Busch, for the first time this season, he's got 5 stage wins after today. He sweeps all stages, wins in the Interstate Batteries, number 18. Ready to go then, here in Richmond. It is a 125 lap race here. You see the stages, so pretty well split, kind of, 25 for stage 1, then at the end of stage 2, that will conclude at the end of lap 60, then we go to the end of the race. But nonetheless, Kevin Harvick is going to lead the field to the green. I'm hoping to have Alan Bailey back in pre-race intros as well soon, but we're underway as Harvick as well as Logano, Ryan Blaney lead the way. A lot of Fords up here in the top 10. Ford could be looking very good now. Harvick won this race in real life. He went back-to-back at Michigan and Richmond. We'll see if he can maybe pick up the win here in Richmond in the game here today. Now, as you see Logano up on the outside, Ryan Blaney on the inside of Logano. He's still trying to keep the fight alive for the regular season championship. I keep saying I'm going to show up, but then Ryan Blaney just can't seem to get quite close enough to really put pressure on Larson. But I will try to start for sure showing what the situation is going into the next episode for the battle for the regular season championship, because remember, there is playoff points on the line depending on where you finish in the regular season standings up in that top 10, as even I myself have a chance for an extra playoff point or so by getting a top 10 in the regular season standings. So you can see us at a turn 4 behind our Alliance teammate of Austin Cindric, one of the bubble area drivers. We are up to like 11th or 12th in the standings right now, but we're still a bubble driver. Just the reality of the situation. We've really cleaned things up lately, which is nice, and I'm hoping we can continue that trend here for the rest of this regular season. Now, as you can see myself battling on the outside of that Menards at number 2 machine, Ty Dillon in the 42 just behind myself, rumored to be potentially going to that new Dodge team actually next season is Ty Dillon. So Dodge, as we announced in the last episode, is going to be coming into the sport with a new team. It was rumored originally they would be coming in with RFK, but now it's a completely new two-car team on the way. Another note here, Eric Almirola is back in the field today after missing last episode in Michigan with an injury, but he is back after that big crash that he had at Indianapolis Road Course, and he is obviously in a must-win scenario if he wants to make it into the playoffs, and we've barely seen him run top 10 this season. However, he's up towards the top 10 right now. Here I am on the outside of Bubba Wallace out of turn 2 down this back straightaway, and we continue to try and move our way forwards here, but as we hit about lap 10, lap 11, and lap 12, we actually started moving forward pretty easily here. Suddenly the car just kind of kicked in and was really working to my advantage, and we had now run down this side-by-side battle of Alex Bowman as well as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. trying to slip up the inside of that number 47 NOS machine and follow the 48 through. I didn't want to make it 3 wide on lap 14, so I just kind of settled in behind the 48 and pushed him down into turn 1, and we would now be able to just cycle through just like Bowman did to get past this 47 of Stenhouse, and then we'll set our sights on passing Alex Bowman, and a few moments later, sure enough, up the inside across the start-finish line here, looking for the position down into turn 1. You see Bubba Wallace now as well trying to make the pass on the 47 behind us, but this should be a pretty easy pass right here on the Ally Financial Chevrolet. I said it should be pretty easy, but Bowman holds on pretty well on the outside here down this back straightaway. Outbreaks me into turn 3, but goes way wide. That allows me to get clear and move up into P16. Nothing but gains so far in this race for us here. Lap 21 already just 5 laps to go. It's not a very long stage here. In stage 1, we do get a few extra laps in stage 2, but you can see I was trying to run down this next group of cars, 15th, 14th of Ross Chastain, as well as Martin Truex Jr. Truex still winless on the season, just like he was in real life as well. Interesting to see how that is actually carried over into IRL, where all of his teammates have won races, but he hasn't quite been able to do that now. As you see, Harvick, he was still out in front of this race here on the final lap now of stage 1, and he was coming through out of turn 4 in lap traffic already to win stage 1 over Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Logano, Elliott, as well as Hamlin, Byron, and Christopher Bell. Larson and Almirola to the line for 9th and 10th place right there. We're crossing the line behind that battle of Chastain, Briscoe, and Truex. And speaking of Truex, you see, he comes into the pit lane. I almost do, but I end up not coming in as I saw nobody else was coming in. But a lot of drivers towards the back do come into the pits. What I did, I changed the fuel cell load to about 70%, I believe it was. 70-75% fuel load in these cars, the capacity. So I'm hoping that this means that everybody will always now be forced to pit at the end of stage 2 and hopefully avoid silliness with strategy. But there always still might be 1 or 2 cars that might try something risky, but it seems like it might be working. We're back underway though for stage 2. There's only one way to find out if it works, and we'll find out a little bit later on. Harvick easily clear down into turn 1 over Chris Buescher. Buescher has stepped it up lately, well, quite literally winning in the last episode, and here he was second in stage 1, now running second down this back straightaway on this opening lap of stage 2. It is all Fords in the top 4 right now: Harvick, Buescher, Logano, and Ryan Blaney, and then following it's Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, as well as William Byron, Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell, all in the rest of the top 10. And Eric Almirola, Kozlowski, a couple more Fords. Almirola in his first race back since his injury, actually having one of the best runs he's had all season. As you can see, some 4 wide in the background. This is behind myself. Ty Dillon gets put in the wall by the 31 of Justin Haley. Some damage down to the right side of that number 42 Allegiant Chevrolet Camaro. 0 for the Richard Petty and GMS team, as we were now trying to continue our way forwards. Unfortunately, I did get overtaken by Alex Bowman. We're still running in the 16th place area, but I was a little bit concerned. Looking at the laps here, we still have 28 laps to go. How are my tires going to hold on? Well, here comes Martin Truex Jr., the first car on fresh tires, absolutely flying around my outside. I have absolutely nothing for him. Not necessarily surprising, obviously, but Austin Cindric was another one behind me that had fresh tires. He's taking a gamble. He knows the situation. He needs points right now. He's in the bubble area. Points are so important for Austin Cindric if he wants to make it into this playoff now, so he has to try something, and if he doesn't get stage points here in stage 2, that was definitely a wasted strategy. But we get clear of the 48 of Alex Bowman, but there was a big just group of cars right here that was all kind of stacked up together, and you can see this battle between myself and Kyle Busch, as well as Briscoe, Eric Jones as well. You see the 18 M&M's machine there on the inside of Briscoe, and Kyle Busch has had one heck of a season here. A couple of wins, or what, one win I think is all he's got, maybe two, but so many stage wins for that 18 of Kyle Busch. But ever since the first quarter of the season, it's really not been anything to really show from that 18 car. Now, as you can see, we continue to battle it out with Kyle Busch and actually get clear of him down this back straightaway. So a free spot there that puts us now into P15. Ross Chastain just in front of us, but Austin Cindric now on the move with those fresh tires, starting to go around the outside of me with 20 laps to go on the stage. And right about here, 20 laps to go on the stage, the car really started to start feeling tight. The right front I had burned up too much, and I was just plowing at this point here, so I was really just hanging on the best I could, trying to make it 3 wide actually with Briscoe and Chastain. I knew I wasn't going to get to make a lot more moves before the stage was over because of how tight the car was getting. You could really see it right there. Just try to go straight through the corner now, but now on the exit of turn 2 to the outside of the 14 down into the turn 3 now, we continue wheel to wheel. Behind us it's Eric Jones in the 43, but these battles continue on side by side with this 14. Chastain driving away from us. I do get clear of Briscoe here on lap 45, so we will certainly take that, move up into what, P14 now I believe that would be, but I was a little bit concerned still. We come through to 47 and we have 14 to go in the stage, and I could just see in my rear view mirror the cars on fresh tires that are working on getting past Chase Briscoe. I could tell that some of the drivers that had taken fresh tires hadn't been able to really do much. Daniel Suarez, however, was one of the ones that could. Another bubble driver. Well, he was now passing me on the outside here, approaching the final 10 laps of the stage. I didn't really have much for him at this point, so he was able to just cruise past me in that number 99 Comscope machine. There he is now a few laps later, working on passing his teammate of Ross Chastain. I'm a little bit loose there on the exit of turn 2. That brings Eric Jones now into the mix here. He's trying to push me down to 17th place at this point. Chastain loses a spot to the 99, and here comes Jones, and as well, not only Jones, but Ryan Preece in the mix as well. And you can see right here on the exit of turn 2, lap 53, big time loose again. That allows the 43 to get clear, and the 41 to my outside. Ryan Preece in a must-win scenario, obviously, to make it into the playoffs, but I don't think he's too concerned. He is guaranteed in that 41 car next season in 2023 as well. Eric Almirola, we know, of course, that the Stewart-Haas team has already been determined that it's going to be Todd Gilliland in that 10 car for next season. Cole Custer, where does he actually go? Is it going to be in the Cup Series or not? He was in the last episode replacing Almirola, who was out with his injury, but what happens to Cole Custer in the future? Let me know down below what you would like to see happen to Cole Custer, and we can maybe implement that right here in this career mode. Final lap though of stage 2, we lost another spot there to the 34 of Michael McDowell. It is what it is at the end of the day, but overall I felt like it was an okay stage 2. Out of turn 4 though, it's not actually Kevin Harvick. I don't know why I focused on him. Martin Truex Jr. had actually won the stage. Harvick got in second over Logano, Buescher, as well as Ryan Blaney, so Truex was able to move his way forward very well on those fresh tires, but that would bring stage 2 to an end. Everybody comes into the pit lane at the end of stage 2 for once, except, well, one car decided to stay out, and it was the 31 of Justin Haley. You see the 42 Ty Dillon going around on the outside. He's a lap down. That's why he was still on the track getting a lucky dog. But yeah, the 31 of Haley stays out, so that is going to make it for an interesting restart here. But we're coming in for the first time today to put on 4 fresh tires now. I love the pit crew animation that they got in this game. Really, really neat. Now, is you can actually get custom-made fire suits, so I could get fire suits to match our car. I might do that next season. I'm not going to worry about it this season, but it depends. Are we going to be in the 21 car next season? Are we going to be with Penske? Could we go to a Stewart-Haas? Very unlikely, obviously, there. Could we go to 2311, Trackhouse? There's so many options. but we really don't know what the future looks like yet. But I imagine come playoff time, we might have an idea. Nonetheless, we're ready to go green for the third and final stage, which is now led by Justin Haley, who is on very, very old tires. No chance he can make it to the end of the race. The only thing he's really going to be able to do here is be a goblin to everybody, and you can see immediately Truex breezes around the outside of that number 31, and so does Joey Logano. Austin Cindric right here, crucial points he needs. He's about to get some right now. He passes the 31 of Haley, who's now going to go up to the outside. Harvick's going to follow through on the inside, make the pass. Buescher's going to try and go through as well. He might be 3 wide in the middle. The 31 will be. No, he's not. Ryan Blaney banked out of it, but you see up ahead, Truex and Logano, P1, P2. So many Fords again up inside the top 10 here, but Ryan Blaney getting the short end of the stick. He is stuck behind that 31. You can see what it's creating in the background. A big mess of cars here, 3 by 3, 2 rows right there of the 3 wide Chastain trying to make a pass on the 34, but now the inside is getting the short end of the stick there, just about 4 wide. Here I go. I'm making it 4 wide with the 41, the 5, and the 9 of Priest, Larson, and Elliott down into turn 1. Priest, he gives me no room to work with, actually turned in on me. We do save it. They're 4 wide again in front of us this time with McDowell, and McDowell puts Elliott into the outside wall down the back straightaway, and that actually kind of helps them. It lets them sort it out and get back down to the 2 wide as I'm going 3 wide again, but we just continue to try and work our way forward, passing Senos, and I was just sending it up the inside, hoping I wasn't going to make contact with anybody, but we nearly do with the 34 on the exit of turn 2 right there on his left rear, diving back down this straightaway. We're going to get past this 41, and you can see the 31 of Haley right here in front of us, but he has done nothing but cause issues here out of turn 4. I throttle up. I decide I'm just going to run right to the back of the 31 and try to hook him, and he nearly gets wrecked right there. Thankfully, we didn't actually hook him head on into the outside wall, because that probably would have led to a very large crash, but we were able to focus in now in the top 15 and now make a pass actually on the 41 of Ryan Priest. This was put us back up into the 14th position. We haven't even seen the top 10 here today in Richmond, but Richmond not my strongest track, and it's certainly showing. Up front though, the battle for the lead heating up. Martin Truex Jr., your stage 2 winner, getting overtaken now by Joey Logano, who's going to dive down into turn 1 and go around the outside of this 19. Harvick not far back, but Harvick just seems to be lacking a little bit of speed here compared to these 2 drivers in this final stage. So Joey Logano out in front. Absolutely love getting to see all these authentic paint schemes here from Richmond in the second race, just like we saw in real life. These are all the same schemes from IRL, and if you enjoy things like this and you want to have that for yourself, you can actually go check out Davis Warren on Trading Paints, and his links are going to be down below, but he makes collections from the current IRL season from 2022. I imagine he'll be doing 2023. He does past seasons as well from eras way back over a decade ago, that you can actually have authentic paint schemes for the real race that they were ran in, whole collections of a whole roster of cars. It looks absolutely fantastic on track, and I'm going to be using some other ones hopefully throughout this year with different races and whatnot, but definitely look down below in the description to check out Davis Warren. He's also selling tickets to some races. You can contact him as well with the description information there, but you can see us getting past the 99 of Daniel Suarez. Now less than 50 laps to go in this race. It has been a bit of a calm race here in Richmond. No crashes so far. William Byron actually had run me down on lap 86 into turn 3. I didn't really feel confident in this battle with the 24, and he was proving that. He was going to breeze right past me in that Liberty University machine, so we fade another spot down behind that 24. Up ahead, Logano now continuing to lead the way. He's actually working his way through lap traffic. Harvick had gotten past Truex up into second. There you see Hamlin and Buescher battling it out, but look at Logano right here. He is not wasting any time. He might be leading the race by a comfortable margin, but he wants to get going 3 wide through the middle between 2 slow lap cars. That was pretty aggressive, a very bold move from the 22 Penske driver, but you know what, at the end of the day, it worked. So there you see now us trying to run down the 2 of Cindric as this run goes on. We're into the final just about 30 laps, and Cindric was starting to fade down the order. I felt bad passing him because I'm in a way better point situation than Cindric, and I do want to help an Alliance teammate get into the playoffs if possible. However, right here, just it didn't make sense to sit back and let the 2 obviously get some points. Now, I can tell you right now, going into Daytona, both myself and and Cindric, we're looking for our first career wins in the Cup Series, but if we're locked into the playoffs going into Daytona, Penske's plan is to have all of us try and work together and help that 2 car get in, because Logano's locked in, Ryan Blaney's locked in, and we are almost locked in depending on what happens over the next 3 events, so we'll have to wait and see. But even Penske might want us to even sacrifice our own chances of getting our first career win if it helps us and Cindric get in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, one of the things we're signed to the 21 car to do from Penske and Wood Brothers is to be a team player. So we'll do what we have to do. You see the battles happening throughout the grid. Chastain and Larson going at it here as we go through the grid. Keselowski getting overtaken here momentarily by William Byron. Cindric continues to fade back towards Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. The 31 of Haley eventually had made his pit stop, so he actually now has fresher tires than everybody and is flying through the field. Obviously, he's going to finish over maybe 1, even 2 laps down. You see Kurt Busch getting lapped, fresh off the announcement that he's retiring. He's having a really rough race. So you see Denny Hamlin now actually overtaking Kevin Harvick for 2nd place here late in the final stages of this Richmond Raceway event, and Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney in the background now. But this has got to be the longest green flag run I think we've had in this 2022 season of this career mode so far, and it looks like it's going to go green to the end of the race. That also brings it in. Let me know down below, do you want to see in moments where it's goes green a really long way, do you want quote-unquote debris cautions or not? Maybe sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. Let me know down below. But we're in the closing laps here. I am not battling anybody for position. These are only lap cars in front of me of Reddick as well as Eric Jones. Rough days for them, but we're running P13. Can't complain about that. White flag in the air here in Richmond. Overall, we made some gains here today. We started P21. We slowly moved our way forward. I was pretty happy with a 13th place effort at a track that I don't consider myself to be very strong at. Joey Logano out of turn 4 is going to come through to win here in Richmond, and you're going to see eventually 2nd place cross the line here, and that would actually go to Denny Hamlin. Harvick comes up short as well in 4th place behind Chris Buescher as everybody else navigates their way across the line. Chastain really got on the move late in the day, got up to P6. Byron rounded out the top 10. We ended up there in that 13th position as we take a look at the point standings. Larson still at the top of the board. Logano gets his 3rd win of the season. You see the drivers in yellow, Truex, myself, and Harvick. We are all the bubble drivers right now. Harvick, of course, not in the safest shape. 23 points above the cut line over, well, these drivers right here. Suarez out by 23, Cindric 26, McDowell, and everybody below him all over a race below right now. So they could all be mathematically eliminated, which means going into the next one at Watkins Glen, they're going to have to get on with it because they don't want to go into Daytona in a must-win scenario. Cindric could be good, so could McDowell, maybe even Gilliland. That's going to wrap it up for me, though. That does it for this episode here in Richmond. 2 races remain in the regular season. Watkins Glen, Kimi Räikkönen making his Project 91 debut in the next episode. Very much looking forward to that one. I can't wait to see what he does, and we'll see what we can do at the road course that we love so much. That does it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.